Today we welcome Kimberly Lee, a children's book author from Malaysia. Kimberly's earliest memories involve scribbling all over the walls of her childhood home. Kimberly now writes picture books for children that serve to empower and enchant. Welcome, Kimberly. Please tell us a little bit about you and your recently published picture book, Boys Don't Fry.
Hi everyone, my name is Kimberly Lee and I am the author of Boys Don't Fry. Boys Don't Fry is a story that is based on my Malaysian, Peranakan Chinese heritage, and it's about a food-loving boy called Jin who just knows that cooking is in his blood. That is, if he can prove it to his three well-meaning but slightly meddlesome aunties. And with the help of his formidable grandmother Mama, he gains access into the secrets and spices of the Nyonya kitchen and learns to challenge cultural and gender norms in the process. It's a book that is focused on empowering kids to find spaces and places where they can be seen and heard and pursue the things that spark joy for them.
The cover of Boys Don't Fry is absolutely beautiful and just catches your eye. Could you show us one of your favorite spreads or pages from your book and tell us why you love it?
Yes, I love the cover as well. I'm obviously a little bit biased, but I also think that the illustrator of the book, Charlene Chua, is an absolute talent. There are so many gorgeous spreads to pick from. One of my favorites would be this one, which I think really does capture the whole message of the book quite beautifully in a single spread. This is the very first time that Jin enters the kitchen with his grandmother, Mama, and it kind of gives you a look at all the beautiful details that go on in the kitchen with beautiful influences, Peranakan influences here in the tiles. You get a glimpse of the kind of food that Jin's going to be making, and at the heart of it is that relationship between this boy and his grandmother who believes so strongly in him.
If you could pick a theme song for your book, what song would it be?
Theme song. Well, there's a Malaysian song that I'm sure most of you haven't heard of, but it's very popular with the Malaysian Peranakan or Nyonya community. It's called Rasa Sayang. Loosely translated, that means feel love. I'm going to sing a little bit of it for you. It goes like this. Rasa sayang, hey, rasa sayang, sayang, hey, hey, lihat nona jauh, rasa sayang, sayang, hey. The rough translation is, oh, that feeling of love, that feeling of love. See the lovely lady from far away, that feeling of love. It's not so much more about the cooking, but it is a song that is very beloved by the Malaysian, Peranakan Chinese culture, and it's sung a lot in celebration. So that is like a background sound, and you kind of get hopefully for most of you, you kind of get a glimpse of it, a little soundbite of it for the first time. Yeah, I like that.
What inspired you to become an author?
I think becoming an author was probably the first dream that I had. I've been writing since I can remember, or at least telling stories since I can remember. And I grew up in a steady diet of stories that were just kind of plucked out of thin air and made up by my mom. So she's a storyteller, and she used to kind of make up stories throughout my childhood. We would just go back and forth, kind of creating fantastical lands and ideas and characters. And so from a really young age, I've always been a storyteller. And then that love for storytelling translated into law. So I ended up becoming a lawyer for a few years. And it was only after having my kids and kind of coming to a crossroads where I was thinking about where to head to next in my career, and then immersing myself in the beautiful world of picture books. And I realized that I wanted to do something to be able to create stories that would impact, empower kids, kind of serve as a little window into world or thoughts or ideas that I felt were important that I wanted to get across. And Yeah, I think that kind of revived again the love that I have had for telling stories and for writing. And here I am.
If you weren't an author, what career would you have had?
If I wasn't an author, what career would I like to pursue? I don't know, maybe an actress. That was always a dream of mine. Like, I was always that kid, with a hairbrush in hand, like, you love me, you really love me, thank you. Always had dreams of, being the first Malaysian to win an Oscar, but, thank you, Michelle Yeoh, stole my thunder. Yeah, so maybe an actress, something in theater, in performing arts.
What would you say is one of the most challenging things about being an author, and what do you do to help overcome that?
Most challenging thing. I think that a lot of times creative people tend to be their own worst enemies. Well, at least that's the case for me. And I do go through a lot of moments where I feel overly critical of myself or doubting myself or just reaching a creative rut. And as an author, I think you can really struggle with that insecurity or that imposter syndrome. I think even if your book doesn't sell, at first you're querying, you're wondering if your work is good enough, and then even when you do get a deal, and even when you do get published, you're constantly worrying about, do people like my work? Am I just a fraud? Are they gonna find me out? And all these really horrible kind of self-doubting thoughts that we tend to have, or at least I tend to have, which I'm trying to challenge. And it's hard sometimes not to compare yourself to other people, and then I think it really is coming to a point where you realize that everybody has their own pace and their own race, and it's also just to really enjoy the process. Am I creating things that I feel passionate about, things that I stand by, things that I feel bring me joy? And if I am, then that's the most important. That's the most important thing at the end of the day. So yes, we are our own worst enemies when it comes to, I think, doubting ourselves, being critical of ourselves. But I also think there's so much capacity and room to be expressive and to explore new things.
On the flip side, what do you think is the most rewarding thing about being an author?
The most rewarding thing, I think nothing really kind of beats that feeling of having a young reader opening up your book and really connecting with the message that it has, or the characters that are portrayed in the book, or coming up to you and saying, I really love what you wrote, and I love doing this, or it really felt like that I was me in the story. Really, that it's absolute joy, and kids have zero filter, right? So I've really loved hearing the spectrum of responses that I've been getting from young readers who like my stories.
If your book could talk, what do you think it would say to you or your readers?
If my book could talk, I don't know, maybe some Alice in Wonderland sort of thing, like eat me, drink me. I think my book would probably say, hey you, open me up and find out why you can do exactly what you want to do, why you should dream big, and regardless of the expectations or labels people put on you, to really find what it is that brings joy to you and that you are passionate about, and go and chase that. Be brave and just do it. At least I hope that's the message that comes across.
Just for fun, what do you like to cook?
My favorite thing to cook. Okay, I love cooking. Like, clearly, I wrote a book about food. No, but I come from a line of like incredible chefs in my family, so the bar is so high. I gotta say, I think I cook a pretty mean. I cook a pretty mean salmon dish and pasta dish, but my favorite things to make in the kitchen would be baked goods. Like, I'm a huge baker, and I've got a killer recipe for chai blondies and mint chocolate cookies, which go down a treat for celebrations.
We would love it if you could walk us through a quick brainstorming, writing, or editing activity.
Okay, brainstorming. People think I joke when I say this, but it's true. I get a lot of ideas sometimes, like in the shower. It is the most inconvenient place to get ideas, but it happens. I think there's something quite like Zen-like or peaceful about just being alone with your thoughts in the shower. But it's always, midway through shampooing my hair and then like a story idea strikes. So I've learned the hard way to kind of have the phone within arm's reach. So there I am with my hand in my hair, soap falling in my eyes everywhere, kind of blindly reaching out from my phone and like flipping open the notes app and just typing out my story idea. Yes, I'm used to it. Probably should get a better waterproof casing for my phone at the rate I'm going, but that's generally where I get the best ideas, in the shower. Yeah, I know, trade secret.
To all our readers, we hope you enjoyed our show and are inspired to pick up some new and amazing books. Remember, you can support Kimberly and her new book, Boys Don't Fry, in a variety of ways. Order from your favorite indie and post your review after reading. Add to your Goodreads list. Request a copy at your local library. And please share this interview on your socials to help spread the word.
Thank you, Kimberly, so much for coming on here and sharing your book. We can't wait to read Boys Don't Fry, and thank you, viewers, for watching.
Thank you so much for hearing me ramble on. I hope you learned something new today or heard something that was interesting to you. I'm so excited, obviously, about Boys Don't Fry. I hope you'll pick it up in the bookstores, give it a little love, or if you've read it and you liked it, drop a review on Goodreads. That helps authors so much. And I hope that this kind of piques your interest at finding out a little bit more about Peranakan culture and Malaysia. So if you're ever in my side of the world, Southeast Asia, Malaysia, give me a heads up, drop me a DM. I'd be more than happy to give you recommendations and tell you the good stuff about Malaysia. Thank you again, and yeah, read Boys Don't Fry.